Before we start, make sure to subscribe. Tap the bell to get notified about all new videos. The cage. The Budgies cage is its home, shelter, and safe place. This cage should be appropriate size for the number of Budgies kept in it. Unfortunately, pet stores often sell cages that are too small for any bird to be kept in on a permanent basis. An appropriately sized cage should allow the Budgie freedom of movement and room to flap its wings. Perches should be positioned so that the Budgie has to hop or fly from perch to perch. Try not to impede on this by over-cluttering the cage with toys or other items. The cage, perches, and accessories should always be kept clean. Don't position the cage directly in front of a window or near any doors and windows, heating and AC vents, etc. Also, don't place the cage where a bright lamp or light fixtures would be pointing directly at it. If at any time your Budgie appears to become nervous because of something going on in the house, people moving furniture, a moving ceiling fan, etc., cover part or all of the cage until the commotion is over. At night, cover the cage for security and keep a nightlight on. How to keep a Budgie's cage warm. Budgies, or parakeets as you probably know them, are warm weather birds. To prevent your feathered friend from becoming a bird sickle, you need to make sure the cage is warm at all times. Set the cage in a place away from drafts. Sure, windows are fun, they allow your Budgie to get some sun and a great view of the outdoors. But if there's cold wind coming in through the seams, things can get chilly rather quickly. Get a bird-safe heat lamp. Yes, there is such a thing, though you might need to find a large pet store or farm product supplier to get your hands on one. These infrared heating lamps or panels never get scorching hot, so there's no fire hazard and no risk of overheating your feathered friend. Buy a warm mist air humidifier to turn your home into the equivalent of a sticky tropical rainforest. That doesn't sound too tempting? Move the cage to a room where Birdie can get the tropics and you won't have to suffer in the process. Humidity not only keeps the cage warm, but also helps prevent dander and dry skin. Can't afford a humidifier right now? Old-fashioned tricks like placing damp towels on top of your radiator will also increase the humidity in the room. Cover the cage with a fleece blanket at night. Move the cage away from windows first, as glass gets cold when the temperature goes down. Make sure the blanket is big enough that it completely covers the cage, so there's no draft of cold air getting in. Escape hazards. Open doors and windows are obvious escape hazards. Never let your Budgie out of its cage while there are open doors or windows, even if its wings are clipped. If a door or window does have a screen, check and make sure it is securely in place and that there are no holes. When your Budgie is out and about, make sure everyone in the family/household is aware so that they don't accidentally leave a door or window open. If you live with other people, be sure to warn everyone that your Budgie is out of its cage so that they may be extra cautious about opening doors or windows. Furthermore, never take your Budgie outside without a proper bird harness, even if their wings are clipped. Clipped birds can gain lift and fly away if startled. physical hazards around the home. Don't let your budgie fly free in an area or room of the house until you've established that it is bird safe. Be sure that there are no fans running and that the blinds or curtains are at least partly drawn on the windows. Also, if there are large mirrors in the room, you should place stickers or ribbons on them. Budgies can accidentally fly into windows and mirrors and injure themselves badly. Once your budgie learns the layout of your home, you may be able to remove the mirror decorations and have the blinds or curtains open. You also need to make sure that there is nothing your budgie could land on that might fall, such as trophies or decorations up on shelves. Reduce the amount of exposed electrical and computer cords to a bare minimum, and always keep your budgie away from these. Remove any plants unless you know they are safe for birds. Examine the area or room from a bird's point of view and try to identify and remove anything that might be a hazard. Even if you're sure a room is bird safe, you should never leave your budgie out of its cage unattended. You never know what kind of trouble he or she might get into, such as nibbling a stray cord, chewing your favorite book, falling behind furniture, or getting hurt accidentally. Like humans, budgies love their toys. A selection of swings, bells, balls, and homemade playthings will fill your pet's life with fun, mental stimulation, and endless excuses for exercise. A budgie deprived of toys will be a sad bird indeed, suffering both physically and mentally. Budgies like to climb, jump, swing, and flap, and to probe their environment with beak and feet. Anything non-toxic that they can chew on will entertain them for hours. Swap them every couple of days. Don't be tempted to throw all the toys in there at once and clutter up the cage bottom. Don't impede the budgie's flying space either. This is especially important if you have a small cage where the bird's flight path options are already limited. Household cleaners and chemicals. You should never let your budgie come into contact with household cleaners or chemicals. Additionally, birds have very sensitive respiratory systems, and you must avoid using aerosol or sprayed products, including cleaners, fragrances, deodorizers, and beauty products around your budgies, as well as cleaners with strong chemical smells or fragrances. You should also not use any kind of fragrance products, such as candles, plug-ins, sprays, and potpourri, if you have a budgie in the house. When it comes time for you to use a cleaner or chemical in your home, put your budgie's cage into a room where the fumes will not get into it. Or, if it's a nice day, place the cage outside of direct sunlight. Your budgie will need to stay out for at least a few hours and until all the fumes or smells are gone. Another source of toxic fumes in the home is non-stick coating, which comes under many names including Teflon. When non-stick coating is overheated, it releases toxic fumes which kill birds very quickly. Even under normal heating conditions, non-stick coating can release some toxic fumes. It is recommended that you never use cookware or appliances with non-stick coating when you have birds in the home. Foods poisonous to birds. There are several foods which should never be fed to your budgie because they are toxic to birds. This includes avocado, fruit seeds and pits, uncooked beans, chocolate, mushrooms, tomato leaves and stems, as well as rhubarb. Many fruit seeds and pits are toxic to birds, so you should always remove fruit seeds or cut away parts of fruit that touch the pit before giving any fruit to your budgie. Strawberry seeds are okay. You should also avoid giving your budgie any dairy, milk-based products, as birds cannot digest the lactose in dairy. Only limited amounts of spinach, chard, or beet greens should be fed to your bird, no more than a leaf per week. These greens contain oxalic acid, which bind to calcium in the digestive system and can cause deficiencies. Don't feed your budgie onion or garlic. If you're sharing with your budgie, small amounts of garlic or onion in your food is okay. You shouldn't feed your budgie any more than very limited amounts of any kind of salty food, sweets, or any foods known as junk food. Never let your budgie consume coffee, soda, caffeinated beverages, or alcohol. Budgies home alone. If you don't replenish your budgie's food and water supply for a day, he won't keel over and die. Similarly, a budgie left in an empty house for 24 hours will survive. Indeed, you would be very unlucky to meet with any problems in 48 hours of home alone time. Leaving him for more than a day is still pushing it though, and you shouldn't take the risk. The main issues are food and water. A single budgie or a pair might get by on dried food for 48 hours, but it will depend on your cage setup. A seed hopper replenishes as the birds feed, but it might become blocked due to a damp patch. Water might become contaminated with droppings. If you keep several birds in an aviary or a large cage, do you actually know how much they eat? Well, you have been putting fresh food out every day, but won't necessarily know if the bowls and feeding stations can last 48 hours if unreplenished. There are other reasons why indoor birds should not be left alone. For example, you might cover them at night, or at the very least, they might rely on the opening and drawing of curtains to define their day. And a single budgie will pine for interaction after just a few hours, as budgies crave company. Like for Cookie, Biscuit, and Mr. Snowflake, thank you, you awesome people of the world. Thank you for watching. If you want more Budgie videos, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe.